Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Biblio Fitness. It is a beautiful Monday here. Not gonna lie, quite sunny, quite windy, but it's still gorgeous. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Of course, made some gains, whatever that means to you. So today I wanted to continue on with brothers Karamazov and now focus a little bit on Dmitri. I'm in this point of the story where he's telling Alyosha about the background of how he met Katerina, which is his fiance, the one that he's leaving to get with the girl that he's fighting his father for. What a interesting story, right? Like, so many different players in the game, so many people have skin in the game and the outcome, and they all have their own reasons and their own purposes, and it's quite interesting seeing how it all develops, how it all starts to flesh out, I guess you could say. It's an astounding book. But yeah, Katerina is now, like, the story about him and her met. He tells Alyosha, because Alyosha is on his way to his father's house. I'm not gonna spoil too much because you have to read the book, and I'm not gonna go to the whole narration about it. So yeah, he's on his way to meet his father. His elder tells him basically like, "Oh, your job is not here. Your job is out there." Like, I'm sure in the meeting he saw the conflict between father and son, and the animosity that was being shown in the family. He's like, "Oh damn, these motherfuckers need some help." They send Alyosha. Alyosha seems to be the center of gravity. He seems to be the rational soul. Like, he seems to be, the pure. Everyone loves him. Everyone wants his respect, his admiration, because he never lies, he never judges. He's that benevolent force, that kind soul that everyone is attracted to, and he's just caught up in all this nonsense and all this craziness. And his brother Dmitri starts talking to him about how he met Katerina when he was still an officer, how he was getting in trouble with his superior officer, a colonel. But then the colonel seems to have gotten into some debt. He started fucking around, funneling money to not pay taxes. I don't know what it was exactly, but for like 4 years. And at one time he gave it to his lender, and the lender was like, "No, you didn't let me shit." Like, basically, I'm fucking him over. And some new governor came in, wanted to come after. Like, a lot of people wanted to come after him in the military, and they set him up basically. And he had to pay taxes. He had to pay like 4,500 rubles, but he didn't have the money. And so during this plight, his daughter Katerina, the fiance, comes into the story. Like, she was studying at some sort of institute, so she's an educated, confident young woman, who Dmitri immediately doesn't seem to like. She's a very confident, self-confident, very educated, very out there with her in her personality. She's not timid. She's not meek. She's not like the common peasant girl that's always getting her ass whooped and always with her mouth shut, things like that. She's very, she's been very westernized, I guess. And she comes into the story, and he was good friends with Marfa, which is the other daughter, which is his sister, and tells her like, "Hey, look, I got some money here. If you send your sister Katerina to come over, maybe I'll give it." And she's like, "You fucking scoundrel!" It goes absolutely crazy over Dmitri for saying such things. But there comes a point where he does need the money, and out of nowhere, out of the blue, here comes Katerina knocking on the door and asking him for it. And at first, he sees this and he's like, "Holy shit!" Like completely surprised and not knowing what to do. Like, now that this moment has arrived, this beautiful young woman who's way above him is now coming over here to a scoundrel, to a peasant, looking for help. And the little demon, like he said, like a poisonous insect, a poisonous spider bit into my heart. Like, a malicious intent arose in him, like very debauched, very like self-interested, very, very evil and sadistic, because he's just a sadist, and he's not a man of God, therefore he's just a creature, and he just likes to fuck around. Like, it's just like his father. Like, he hates the beauty of Katerina, he hates the pureness, and he wants to bring it down to his level. And he first feigns, like, he's like, oh, like, what made you think I actually would have that money? You're foolish, you wasted your time. I don't have that money. Like, I would help you with a little bit, but I can't help you with that much. I'm just a poor guy, like, fucking around with her. But at the end, he gives it to her, and he wanted to kill himself. He's like, fuck, bro, like, if I give her the money, though, I'll never see her again. Like if she says I'll see you tomorrow, but what's holding her back from from her word and stuff like that? He's like, oh, she's gonna run off, she's never gonna see me again, I'm never gonna see her again. But yeah, she leaves, she prostrates herself before him for the money, and she runs off. It's just interesting how Dmitri is portrayed. He's a very selfish human being. He likes to fuck with people, he likes to have parties, he likes to get drunk. He's just very materialistic. Like, since there's no God, there's no ideal, there's no morals, then the only thing left is pleasure. The only thing left is to be self-interested, to be a fucking narcissist, and to be all these things. At least that's the case that Dostoevsky makes, because reason is not able, apparently, but that's just what he is. And he's enthralled by the beauty of this woman, the difference in her, and he just wants to bring it down to his level. And it's like Fyodor. Fyodor hates the church. He thinks it's a fraud. He's like, all that money just wasted on these fucking holy fools that all they do is sponge off the peasantry. They don't do anything for society, and all they do is pray and hide themselves in a monastery. That's why he's always blaspheming and always making fun of it. It's really cool. Well, I mean, not really cool, but an interesting dynamic, within the story. You have these people that absolutely abhor the church, and they're going through their inner turmoil because of it, basically, in a way. They're confronted with the reality that all that's left is material world. All that's left is pleasure. Like, if you have no hell, you have no ideal, then you have no morals to stand on, or no morals to live by, and like nothing to set your ground in. I mean, to set a foundation, That's the case by Dostoevsky, and that's the caricature show by Dmitri as well. But he's clearly going through a conflict. Like, he wants, because after that instance, after that moment when she prostrates it, he gives her the 5,000. Later on, she leaves to Moscow after a couple months. But she leaves him a note the day she leaves. She's like, oh, wait for me, I'll be back. And she sends him the change of the money that she used for her father, which is like 200 something rubles or something like that. But yeah, at the end, he gets like a letter later on of her declaring love for him, declaring how she wants to be with him, how she adores him, wants to be with her. He wants to be the rug that he can walk on and shit like that. Like very submissive tone in the letter towards Dmitri, and he accepts it even though he doesn't really love her, But as they get engaged, there's a moment where she gives him, Katerina gives Dmitri 3,000 rubles to send to her sister in Moscow. But during that time, he meets Grushenska, the other girl, and she basically finesses this guy. And instead of giving the 3,000 to his fiance's sister, he blows it on a big party. He goes to another city with girls and drinking and fucking around with Grushenska. So he blows all this money, and this causes a serious psychological trauma on him. Because he's the type of guy that always says, oh, I never ruin people's honors, I never out women and stuff like that. Like, he has like a line that he won't cross. But yeah, and he has that terrible pain in his heart, and now he wants to make it up to her, but he wants to leave her for Grushenska. Like, he wants to just give her the money to be absolved of that sin, so he can keep going in his back alleys and his whorehouses, like how he tells Alyosha, like, I'm not part of the main square. I live in the back alleys and the sewers and stuff like that. That's where I belong. And he likes it. He loves to feel the basis of it all. He loves to be immersed in it. He loves to see it. He just loves being in pleasure and in ignorance. That's just how he is. Just like his dad. That's why they're probably wanting to kill each other and shit. It's just a natural progression of men like that. But yeah, it's getting quite crazy. He wants to marry Luchenska. He wants to get after her, and he knows that his father has money for her, trying to bribe her, basically. So it's basically becoming a contest, like a contest that can lead to disastrous results, which obviously it will. So that's why I wanted to quickly talk about today. Dmitri is quite an interesting individual, but he seems to still have a conscience somewhat. He knows that he's a piece of shit, and he knows that he's still falling down this road, and he tells Alyosha, like, oh, like, today I could stop all these actions by doing one thing, but I won't do it. Like, I'm going to dive heels up into the abyss, into the hole. Like, I don't want to, like, off the mountain. Instead of being reasonable and shit. Like, he just doesn't care. Like, it's just who he is. He accepted that that's his fate and that he can't change. And he's going to have a blast. My apologies for y'all, my goodness. But probably hungry as shit. That'll be it for today. This is a great book. I'm probably going to keep talking about this for quite a while. There's a lot of great ideas. There's a lot of great arguments within the book. That's interesting to go over, Well, hope you all have a great day. If you haven't made gains already, do so. Whether it's a book or, the gym. I have to rest today, unfortunately. Well, not really. I did legs yesterday. It was quite amazing. But tomorrow is a push day. So love y'all. Hope you have a great day. Be safe. Peace.